Recording. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna pause the. Hi everyone, welcome to the the Wellness Coalition. We are talking this month all about the immune system and how to support resiliency. Today is going to be featuring Ethan Childs, a fitness trainer, but before we get him started on the talk, I want to go ahead and introduce some of the members of the Wellness Coalition. Let's go ahead and start with Dr. Sham Liu. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, doctor. I'm Dr. Sham Liu. I am a chiropractor, and I'm actually called an upper cervical chiropractor. I focus on the head and neck and a lot of conditions that come with that, like migraines, headaches, vertigo, chronic neck pain, whiplash, all kinds of things that affect the head and neck. And what we do at the office that's can be pretty unique is we focus on the source of the problem instead of just the effect. So our whole motto is if you focus on the source, the effect will get better naturally and you'll just function better generally. And that's the way you get the long-lasting permanent results. So that's the way we handle our patients. And during this time of COVID, we definitely are taking that seriously and practicing social distancing. We're sanitizing like mad people and making it really safe for our patients.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Sham Liu. And with that, I'll let Kirsten Evanson go ahead and tell us all about what she's up to and how she's supporting folks during this time.
Thanks so much, Krisha. My name is Kirsten Evanson. I'm a wellness advocate with the Juice Plus and Tower Garden Company. And in these times, really my work isn't much different than it is during non-COVID times, and that is helping people's vitality, helping boost people's immune system through plants. I'm just getting as many plants into our bodies as we can. So we do that a few different ways. We have a tower garden where we can grow our own food in the convenience of our homes. We have encapsulated plant supplements that literally are just like salad bar in a capsule, and 5 research studies behind the encapsulated produce that prove that immune markers in the blood go up. So during these times when all of us are concerned about boosting immune system, I feel like I have a really vital and important role and important information that I can share with people. And happy to be a part of this coalition too. Thanks.
Great, thank you. And with that, I'll introduce myself quickly. Dr. Krisha Olson. I'm a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist. I practice here at Kuan Yin Healing Arts in Northwest Portland. And during this time, I actually just started a Summer of Health 3-month free program. What that means is we're walking through the 7 elements of full health, which really is just the ways that you can support yourself at home during these times in order to improve your health so that in the fall, when everyone's anticipating that second wave, you're in much better shape. It's a free course and you can find it on my website, drkrishaolson.com. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn the tables over to Ethan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ethan Childs. I'm a certified personal trainer and health and nutrition coach. So during these COVID times, I've been working with clients remotely, writing nutritional programs, doing Zoom personal training, and also writing programs for at-home workouts, among mobility and other stuff. And so today, my talk is going to be about routine, something that a lot of us lost in this whole COVID time. I know it has, like, my routine's totally gotten like thrown sideways since this whole thing. So I'm going to break this down into 3 things that I think are some of the most important aspects of health, which is going to be sleep, nutrition, and then movement. And so, movement, and I would say movement and nutrition is kind of like my specialty, but sleep is so important. And so it's kind of sets the tone for the whole day. And so what I'm wanting to talk about is how you can create a routine to help your body run more efficiently and at a higher capacity. And so it all starts with your sleep, right? So if you can create a routine, maybe a nightly routine or a wake routine, or even schedule a bedtime and a wake time so that every day you know exactly what hours you're getting of sleep, and as well as having more consistency throughout each and every day. And so one thing I want to talk about is how creating better routine for going to sleep sets yourself up so that you can have better sleep, more consistency. So first thing is create a nighttime routine. Second thing is create a morning routine. So this will set the tone for your whole day. Get your body moving, get the liquids in. You need to get one thing I always do for my morning routine is upon waking up, I'll make my bed and then get some sort of like low stress movement, maybe like some stretching or some like light body weight exercises just to get the blood moving. I've just been like laying in bed stiff for 8 hours. So that's super important. And then that sets the tone for my whole day. So if I can get that down, and which I now have, it helps me to have a more productive day. And among, all the health benefits of having great sleep and and consistent energy. So next thing I want to talk about is nutrition, and how creating a routine for your nutrition not only is great for your health, your mental health, boosting your immune system, better digestive health, better, you're getting more out of the food you eat, and creating like better food hygiene. And so one thing that I always talk about is help your body be as efficient as possible. Your body is super adaptive. And so what you want to do as best as you can is eat at the same time each and every day. And so what that does is that helps create efficiency through your body, so your body knows when to expect its next meal, and better food hygiene as well. And so this creates efficiency for your digestive system, and not only your digestive system, but also helps you get the most out of the food that you're eating. Because what happens is when your body is always constantly trying to readjust, the food that you're eating, you're not necessarily always absorbing, and it just gets flushed through. So you want to make the most for the money that you're spending on your food. And as well as like energy thing is like huge. So if you can maintain consistent meal times by scheduling it, put it in your schedule, make it a habit. And so that's what all these little things are, is like creating these small habits to obtain overall better health. And so one tip that I always like to tell my clients and the people I work with is schedule your eating times, and make it a eating time. Don't make it a eat and drive to the store time, or eat and go do something else time, or eat and, make your eating times time for you to just sit down, chew your food, and really focus on your meal, or whatever it is you might be eating. And then also creating better food hygiene, and getting better habits about like chewing and not getting too distracted while you're eating. So like a lot of times what happens is people get distracted while they're eating, and they don't realize they're chewing their food halfway before swallowing it. So your digestive system starts in your mouth, right? So chew your food. And so the big takeaway with the nutrition piece, I would say, is schedule your eating windows, and be consistent with your meals. So, like as consistent as possible. But what I always like to do is just have, this is just the way I structure my eating, but I just pick a primary fuel source for my day, or whatever that may be, whether it be like a carbohydrate based thing, or like a fat-based meal, I kind of like to pick one primary fuel source, keep the other one low, and then keep my protein about 20-25% of my macro count. But that's just me. And so I just like to have my meals consistent as far as the calorie count and everything else that's in it. Yeah, so I would say the biggest takeaway for this part is just schedule your eating times, make your eating time like exclusive to your eating. Last but not least, for sure, is getting a routine for movement. Movement is so important. It's probably one of the biggest things I think in health that gets looked past and not and maybe even not prescribed enough. It's it's one of those things that it's uncomfortable and it's easy to avoid. It's easy to not think about, and but it's just as important as the other two. And so with creating routine for movement, and so all these past few tips that I've been giving you is also helping for the broader scope of creating more efficiency for your body, which is helping you maintain and sustain energy throughout your day. And so one thing I like to talk about is like scheduling, just like scheduling your meals, schedule your workouts. This not only gives you the habit of working out, so when you hit that time of your day, you know it's coming, you have your mind wrapped around it, and so and if everything else goes and falls into place, your nutrition falls into place, your sleep falls into place, then you should have good energy for your workout. And one thing I like to talk about with movement is move your body in weird and uncomfortable ways that you wouldn't normally. This is like one of the most important things in working out that I think also doesn't get talked about enough, is you want your body to be as functional as possible. So making sure you're doing movements that challenge your balance, doing movements that challenge your strength, that challenge your endurance. You want the broad scope because in the long run, for longevity, you can, the more ways you move your body in the long run, the less uncomfortable you'll be in certain situations. Like, to give you an example, like I look at my grandma, for instance, and if she had practiced good movement throughout her whole life, then doing certain things like being on one foot, or maybe even just walking, to be honest, or getting out of a car, some of those things, like, you don't think about, they're not necessarily like super easy, I guess, like if you're not used to that type of movement. So move your body in every different way, squat, do push-ups, do stuff to challenge your balance on one foot, and move your body and get daily movement in, whether that's a routine for exercise, or whether that's going for a hike and doing something that's active. So big takeaway for this one, again, schedule your movement. And the more routine you can have, the only thing I would say about movement that's a little bit different than nutrition and sleep is you actually want to move your body in different ways. So you don't want to stick to the same routine forever. Find a routine that you like, and then after maybe 2 months, switch it up. Find a new routine that'll challenge you in other ways. And so biggest takeaway for this whole thing is find routine. The more routine you can have throughout your day, the more proficient of a day you'll have, and the more you'll get out of your body, and your body will thank you. So that is my talk for today, you guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Ethan. That was fantastic. And I love what you were talking about with like sleep and, you know, the importance of rest, as well as the importance of movement and nutrition, because those are all pillars within the 7 elements of full health that I'm talking about in the Summer of Health. So it's perfect that you're talking about it, because it's just so true. If we're not scheduling it in, when does it happen?
Totally.
Um,
I have a comment too, just a couple of tips that have helped me in these times. And I so appreciating that you're talking about routine, Ethan, because I know like that first month when we when we went into shutdown and whatnot, I was really just sideways with, gaining weight and, sitting more. But there are 2 mornings a week that I've discovered. I have Zoom calls for my company, 8:30 to 9:30. I was sitting in front of a black screen. None of our faces are up on Zoom. And I was like, why am I sitting here when I could be walking during this time? I mean, so two mornings a week, I just build in now. I just put Zoom on, on don't join with video, and away I go. And I'm getting an hour worth of exercise. And the other thing that I've really found that just speaks so true to what you said, Ethan, is that if I get up and do some movement and activity before I sit my butt in the seat at 8:30, because I'm pretty self-disciplined as far as, I'm working from home, but if I don't get that movement in before I sit, it's really tough to get it later in the day. So I really appreciate what you're saying. And I just think it's so important. Thank you.
I like Ethan what you said about having a scheduled time to eat, because I mean, if you look at like the way it used to be, families would like sit down together and eat, and that's all they were doing. And you're probably gonna eat less when you are just focusing on one task. But like for me, for example, one thing I'm gonna start practicing just after hearing you talk is, instead of eating my dinner or snacking or whatever while I'm watching Netflix, I'm actually going to eat and then watch Netflix, because I have a way less likely time to be distracted and maybe not focus on my chewing, not doing things that are going to kind of tell my body that I'm full earlier than just, it's so easy to be distracted and overeat. And that's kind of how you can lower that and eat more healthily, I guess.
Yeah. For me, I know like with like eating, it's one thing like I hadn't thought about like early on in the past, but it's like just like sitting down and like focusing on your meals. Like for me, like it's helped my digestion a ton just by like just focusing on chewing and eating.
Yeah.
And then like for morning routines, like that's like something that I always talk about. It's like when your morning routine is your warm up to your day. Just like we have a warm up to your workout, your morning routine's your warm up to your day. You were just fasting for 8 hours and in bed, asleep, not drinking any water or anything like that. So I always like create my morning routine kind of like it's my warm up to my day. So I like drink a bunch of water and then, get a little bit of movement in and then take care of the rest.
I love that so much. That's a great way to think about it. And same thing with like nighttime routine being, the cool down for the day. It's fantastic. One other thing I wanted to mention was that, in particular, like eating dinner while watching Netflix, I noticed I started paying attention, and when I was doing that, my sleep quality was not as good as when I wasn't watching TV in front of like at night. And so what my boyfriend and I have started doing is now we, instead go in the bed and we are reading a book, and that just makes I fall asleep a lot faster, and I'm reading, so that's good. And it's just, I wake up feeling so much more refreshed because, right, you're not getting that light and all that, which is disrupting your sleep, and making it so much harder to fall asleep as well.
Mm-hmm.
So such a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. If there are no other questions or anything, we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you for joining us. We will be every Wednesday at 9 to 9:30. We host these little snippets of health information. And again, this month we're talking all about June Immune. And so the next week, I will actually be talking about some basics that you can do to support your immune system with nutrition and with other great tips as well. And I'll utilize some of the statistics and research that's been coming out with COVID. So thank you again. And with that, have a great rest of your day.